can learn some new skills or to communicate, it doesn't mean you're not accepting autism. The difference between acceptance and non-acceptance is rooted in a desire to fundamentally change the person in ways they cannot be changed instead of tapping intrinsic potential and building bridges. Okay, and what if you can cure autism, you might ask? I'm not going to answer it, but Elizabeth Moon, who is on your course syllabus, and The Speed of Dark touches upon the idea of a cure. And the reviewer writes this: "The choice Lou is faced with is not an easy one. To be normal is a dream he'd never seriously considered before, and the prospects are terrifying. Would the surgery even succeed? If it did, would he still be himself, or would he be reduced to a normal-seeming simulacrum? Would he still like fencing? Would he still like the beautiful yet out-of-reach Marjorie? More importantly, would Marjorie find it easier to reciprocate Lou's feelings if he were normal? Lou struggles to come to grips with his fears and hopes in the faces of his potential cure or curse, draws the reader deeper and deeper into Lou's world to a level of intimacy rare in literature." In other words, would Adam lose his Adamness if he were cured of his autism? Would he lose his incredible abilities and ways of seeing the world from which many of us benefit? We do not know. But have we considered what we may stand to lose? Many autistic self-advocates claim that the issue is not that they should be cured, but to be accepted as they are. Many autistic people say that they know no other way to be. To cure only suggests a denial of what is, and it also implies that the individual to be cured is faulty or ill. So should the onus be on autistics to change, or on society to understand and accept autism? I certainly know from watching Adam grow that he works hard to understand us. We need to reciprocate that effort. We also have to be cognizant that we tend to place greater value on individuals who surpass the challenges of their disability to look more normal. And we particularly see these people celebrated in the news and in Hollywood. Looking normal seems to be more important than being unique. It behooves us to find other examples and learn some valuable lessons. People with cerebral palsy were treated with behavioral methods in the 1970s with a treatment called patterning. It held the premise that the person with CP could learn how to walk if they would only learn how to crawl, because it was thought to be an important developmental milestone. This was a very popular therapy back then, and touted in a similar way to ABA. ABA today teaches kids not only skill acquisition, but instructs autistic children to behave in, quote, appropriate ways, whatever that means, or to learn in ways that are not always natural for them. With many neurological disabilities like autism, CP, or Downs, a child cannot always meet those appropriate or typical developmental steps, so the approach is inappropriate. Recently, a well-known researcher suggested that Adam is at a 2-year-old level emotionally, but I don't buy it. I suggest he is a 5-year-old autistic boy. He has learned to adapt and respond in an autistic way, a valuable way. He has intelligence, and he is, in some areas, advanced. In one of the schools we applied to, they wanted to hold Adam back a year, not because of his cognitive ability, but because of the fact that he's pretty much nonverbal. This approach may seem logical when our children are little. We believe our kids will catch up and step on each one of those typical milestones eventually. 1 year doesn't seem like much, maybe 2. But the years pass, and our children will progress and remain autistic, and the judgments won't get any easier. Adam can't afford to be held back lest he be bored out of his mind. And there's plenty of testimony from autistic adults who were put in classrooms taking cars apart day in and day out, and they say it was an intellectual hell. So while we are understanding some of the pitfalls of teaching autistics to behave appropriately for the sake of it, and sometimes as a priority of educating in some cases, we must address autism education by understanding the way autistic people learn. And we are best served by developing multidisciplinary methods to assist them as unique individuals. The science is growing to support autistic ability. the University of Montreal is doing groundbreaking research in understanding appropriate testing methods, enhanced perceptual abilities, fluid intelligence, and high-level abstract reasoning. Soon, our notions of high and low functioning in autism may be obsolete as we understand it correlated with intelligence. The following video is by Amanda Baggs, who's with you here today. And she's so-called low functioning, and she lives in Vermont. Amanda still needs some assistance, and she is nonverbal. You may have seen this video in a two-part series that featured Amanda on CNN recently. In the video, In My Language, which I've clipped a little bit in the interest of time, she brilliantly illustrates the meaning of personhood and autistic intelligence and debunks the assumptions that permits its society to ignore people like her. Now let's take a look at that clip.
The previous part of this video was in my native language. Many people have assumed that when I talk about this being my language, that means that each part of the video must have a particular symbolic message within it, designed for the human mind to interpret. But my language is not about designing words or even visual symbols for people to interpret. It is about being in a constant conversation with every aspect of my environment, reacting physically to all parts of my surroundings. In this part of the video, the water doesn't symbolize anything. I am just interacting with the water as the water interacts with me. Far from being purposeless, the way that I move is an ongoing response to what is around me. Ironically, the way that I move when responding to everything around me is described as being in a world of my own, whereas if I interact with a much more limited set of responses and only react to a much more limited part of my surroundings, people claim that I am opening up to true interaction with the world. They judge my existence, awareness, and personhood on which of a tiny and limited part of the world I appear to be reacting to. The way I naturally think and respond to things looks and feels so different from standard concepts or even visualization that some people do not consider it thought at all, but it is a way of thinking in its own right. However, the thinking of people like me is only taken seriously if we learn your language, no matter how we previously thought or interacted. As you heard, I can sing along to what is around me. It is only when I type something in your language that you refer to me as having communication. I smell things. I listen to things. I feel things. I taste things. I look at things.